Ooh, got another winner here. Look at that. Hey everybody, welcome back to Victory Urbanstead. My name is Kirah, and today I'm going to be talking about how to harvest your garlic. But before I get into that, I just want to have a special thanks to all of the people who have recently joined our channel over the past year and a half, despite me being MIA. They were for actually some pretty good reasons, and I'll be sharing that later on throughout the process. But I'm sure you're wondering why there is this tarp over what is supposed to be my garlic bed. And the reason why is because I was starting to harvest it early in the morning, and then the clouds started looking really iffy. So I checked the weather radar, and it was in fact going to rain for about 2 or 3 hours around noon. So I stopped what I was doing and basically put this tarp over to protect the garlic from receiving any more moisture. And that's kind of my first tip for when harvesting garlic, is to basically a couple days before you're going to harvest your garlic is to stop watering, or at least stop getting it exposed from the rain. Now, before I go any further, I do not claim to be an expert garlic gardener by any means. This is only my second year growing garlic, but garlic is actually a very easy plant to grow because you essentially just plant it and forget about it, and then 8 to 9 months later, you have garlic. So once you harvest the garlic, you essentially have to dry it and cure it for about 2 weeks. So if your garlic is, exposed to rain, or has any extra moisture, that's just going to delay your drying process. So I'm going to open up the bed, and like I said, I was starting to harvest it earlier in the day. That's why half the bed is gone. And the first thing I did actually was just remove all the tiny stragglers, and pretty much left the premium bulbs that I suspect are going to be the larger, beautiful, well-developed ones. So like I said, this is my second year growing garlic, and this is the first batch that I actually grew from my own garlic seed. And the reason why you want to save your own garlic seed versus just buying seed garlic from the suppliers every year is because, one, the garlic becomes more adapted to your individual climate, and when it comes to actually choosing the bulbs that you're going to save for seed, you want to pick the biggest, fattest cloves that you have, because that in turn produces even larger crop next year. And that is definitely what happened in the case of my garlic cloves. Last year, I think I harvested about 70 bulbs, and this is pretty much all I have left from my supply. And the actual varieties of garlic I selected were with the purpose of for long-term storage. So there are many different types of garlic: hard neck, soft neck, and you can look up videos about that. But what I'm really after is how long do you want your garlic to last? In my case, I want to make sure I have some garlic, left over before I harvest my next crop. So the two varieties that I picked was the Persian Star and Romanian Red. And they both claim to have about 7 to 9 months of storage. And garlic takes about, 6 to 8 months to grow, so that's pretty much perfect. And the few that I do have left, I would say most of them are dried out at this point. That's still fine. You can still crush it up, grind it up, and you have garlic powder. But yeah, here is one that is from last year, and this is actually about the average size of the garlic that I grew last year. And like I said, I already dug up some of the bulbs and they are like bigger than this. The majority of them are nice, beautiful cloves or bulbs of garlic. So here is a piece of garlic or clove of garlic, and it is still firm if I squish it. So this is still nice to use fresh and crushed up in things. Here's another variety. It has lost its space. You can see I'm crumpling it up. But like I said, it still can be used for garlic powder, grinding it up, putting it, you know, it's still usable at this stage. So actually, while sitting here going through the video, I actually noticed that I actually missed one of my garlic scapes. So when you plant a clove of garlic, it's going to produce a scape in the case of hardnecks, and that's basically it trying to flower to then produce seed and then, you know, go on to the next generation. But when you're already starting with a clove instead of seed, it's much faster for bulb development. And you want the energy to go into producing the bulb instead of flowering. So about a month before you're going to harvest, you actually want to pick this off. And when it comes to scapes, this is actually something you can eat. And this produces the most beautiful, fragrant, like even sometimes, I think even a little bit better than the clove. It's really like a true delicacy if you grow garlic. So I just love to like chop this up, you know, cook with potatoes, soups, you know, whatever you like garlic in, add some scapes. They're a really good treat. So I forgot to move the scape from this one. It's okay. The stalk of this garlic is still pretty hefty, so I'm confident that this bulb, you know, is gonna be fine. But like I said, the reason why I knew this batch of garlic was gonna be bigger and badder than my previous years is because of the thickness of the stalk. And I already have thinned some of the smaller garlic because again, look how tiny this stalk is compared to this one. And these were just picked a couple hours ago. So when you're pulling garlic out of the bed, it's not recommended to just pull. But in the instance of these tiny ones, just go ahead and pull. There's like nothing there. And you can still use these. I am going to be making pickles later on in the week, and these are just perfect to peel and pop right into your jars. And yeah, there's really no purpose of curing all this, especially if you can just go ahead and use it immediately in your recipes. So this is what I'm going to be using for the smaller garlic. Now, when it actually comes to determining the time to harvest your plant, there's many different kind of rules people go by for timing, but the kind of general consensus is to look at the leaves. So they say at a minimum when the first bottom 2 leaves are starting to brown, and at a maximum when about half the leaves are browned. And what that equates to is the actual layers within the garlic. So when you peel the garlic, there's all these layers. Well, each leaf is attributed to a layer of wrapper. And if you wait till all of the leaves are brown, then basically you have no more protection left in your garlic, and you basically have to use it immediately because it's exposed to all sorts of microbes and bacteria, and it's just not gonna have that shelf life. And like I said, my purpose of growing garlic is to have a variety that has a very long storage life. So my leaves are about 50% brown and don't want to wait any longer. And like I said, if you're unsure, if you think you're harvesting your garlic prematurely, you always can dig and a little bit from the base, just peel back the dirt a little bit. Never pull on your garlic, and just see how the bulb is forming. And like I said, these are ready to harvest, so I know. But if you're unsure, you're able to check. So to actually uproot your garlic from the ground, you're gonna take whatever shovel you have. Don't put it right next to where the garlic is because you're gonna damage those protective layers. Put it about 2 inches out because all you need to do is disrupt the root system. And then from there, you're able to release the garlic. There it is. okay? Now, like I said, this one still had its scape intact. And this is about the similar size of stalk of this one. And this one had its scape removed about a month ago. So I'm very curious to see if this one's even bigger. So let's dig this one up. It may or not be. Now, because I'm just harvesting, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to check. I can just go down about 2 inches and pull it out. And oh yeah, look at that. It's clearly bigger than that one, despite having the same size stalk. So this is actually a very good example of why you should indeed remove that scape, because it puts more energy into the bulb. So basically that's all you need to know as far as, cutting the scapes, timing of garlic, how to check it, looking at the leaves. So without further ado, I'm just gonna pull the rest of this garlic up and then show you how to tie it and cure it. Now, as I said before, garlic is a very beginner-friendly plant as far as gardening is concerned, because you just put it in the ground and you forget about it. And honestly, I have never watered my garlic bed once. I have not fertilized it at all. Basically, all I use is just rabbit compost, and I dump it on the bed periodically throughout the winter. And in the summer, our compost has other places to go. So it's a very easy, carefree plate. Oh my gosh, wow, look at this one. This is just a massive, whoa, look at that. Like, wow, this is just a massive clove of garlic. Like, oh my gosh. Like I said, like maybe last year, this is like the biggest garlic clove I could get. But this is, yeah. So instead of eating this garlic, like I'm very tempted to do, this is going to be my seed garlic next year, so I can get even bigger, fatter bulbs. When it comes to garlic, size matters, 110%. You can get garlic from the store. I mean, if you don't have an option for whatever reason, because seed garlic is very expensive, but the garlic growers are using the same method that I'm talking about. All of the garlic that goes to the grocery store is not the biggest, baddest garlic that they grow. They save that for themselves in order to produce the best next year. And let's not even get into all the other issues of, it not being organic, what's being sprayed on the garlic from the store being sprayed with sprout inhibitors. So that could be another challenge if you're starting garlic from the grocery store. But if it's an issue of, food security, there's a lot of food shortages going on post-pandemic. If that's all you can get and that's all you can afford, by all means, do what you can. That's the whole reason we started gardening in the first place, is being in control of where our food comes from, what's in it, and not relying on our ever so fragile food system. All right, getting down to the last few bulbs here. I will say, I originally ordered about 2 pounds of seed garlic my first year, and then I probably only saved about a pound or less after that. And like I said, I started out with 2 varieties, and when it came to actually selecting which variety went back into the ground, I didn't. I purely went on size. And I think most of what I have now this year is just Persian Star. And that's okay, because out of the 2 varieties, that's the one that performed the best, and that's the one I went with. Here, I guess, is a Romanian red, and I think maybe there's only one, I think this is the only full-size Romanian that I have. And, that just is what it is. Ooh, got another winner here. Look at that! You just missed it. Griffin just burped off camera. This is our rescue dog, Griffin. We got him last year on Thanksgiving. And I'm currently training him not to jump in the garden beds, because sometimes he just gets so excited, we're running, playing around, and then he'll just kind of plow through something. He hasn't damaged any plant yet, thankfully, and he is getting better, but you never know. So we're down to the last plant of garlic, and woo, we got another massive winner. Like, oh my God. This is like, if I close my fist, that is how big the garlic is. Wow. I would dare say, I mean, I haven't grown elephant garlic, but this is like elephant garlic territory. And fun fact, elephant garlic is actually not true garlic, it's a shallot. Alrighty, so here is the garlic harvest of 2022. I don't think I could get this excited about garlic, but I am. I love garlic. I can't wait for the tomatoes to be ready to mince up with some bruschetta. But like, wow, like I said, save your own seed. Start with garlic seed, but then take your biggest, fattest bulbs, put them in the ground at the end of the year. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to say. I actually planted my garlic late. You're supposed to plant around end of October, Halloween. Guess when I put these in? December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to plant the garlic seed. And we actually were in a warm spell. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was probably like 50, 60 degrees for like 3 days after Christmas. And then it was about to go back down into freezing. And I was like, okay, let me get my garlic in the bed and then just kind of heavy mulch it. You know, 2 days after Christmas, almost 2 months later from what was recommended. And here we are, July, actually, oh my gosh, it's June 27th. I didn't even plan this, literally. You know, I don't know how many months, you know, December. So 7 months like on the date. And I still have this huge, massive garlic without watering, without crazy fertilizer. Just, you know, picking the best cream of the crop, essentially. So yeah, one more close up of this garlic before I start hanging it up. Like, that's crazy. I think I got like at least five cloves that are this massive. All right, so I'm going to show you how I hang and cure my garlic. And yeah, so let's get to that. So this is super, super secret bonus footage. So like I said, if you wait too long to harvest your garlic, it starts to split. There's no protection left on this. Thankfully, this is the only bulb that I had that did this. But this is the consequences if you don't harvest your garlic on time. So don't do that. All right, okay, bye.